Good morning, everyone. As we discussed last class regarding the public and private key infrastructure, so let's understand the theory part first. So we have documentation ready on Wave. So suppose let me go through the documentation in the GitHub. It's a very good documentation link has provided. So you go to the profile, your profile, go to setting, and if you click SSH key, and you can see here I did not have any key right now, but I want to check out our guide for generating this is very good documentation. Document purpose I came here. I will show you this lab later on. Just open this. So we have very good documentation here about authentication. What is secure shell? How are you going to use connect? Here is a specific example they given about the GitHub. How are you going to use the secure shell? Okay. So about SSH, each and every document I expecting you supposed to go through. So about SSH, what is SSH? Why we are using? So here SSH protocol you are using for the can connect and authenticate remote servers and their services. So you should not going to use the username and personal access token each time they have you all document. Then we have linked to the checking of the existing SSH key, then generating with the new SSH key, and how to add the SSH agent, and then how you going to copy those public key the remote system. Then you have to do the testing, and then so we will go through each and every part. So before going for GitHub, this is the part where you can explore the documentation. Okay, and this is more than enough documentation. You have each and every command over here, you can see, and this document maintained and keep on updated by SSH yourself. So you have latest one. So we are going to go for option. You can go for Windows and Mac. You can check how to generate. So before that, we will practice three scenario. Instead of going jump to the GitHub, we will go through the three stuff. First, how to authenticate one system to second system, not using the user and password. You have to use one system, another system using the public key infrastructure. Okay, public key infrastructure. Then we will see how you going to one system going to authenticate without user and password using public key infrastructure to the server. So this is the and we will see what are the challenge coming from server side and system. What is the difference? Then next we will system how we going without using user and password authenticate public key infrastructure between the system and router switches. So this is also one. Then we will move to the system going to public key infrastructure cloud. That's a GitHub. Okay, so clear guys. So we have ample number of practice we will do, and you can practice as I have said the VM, the system 1 to system, and then server, and we have running with the GNS. Then we will move. Still here any questions? Let us start doing the lab. Should I
We can
move?
start.
Okay,
Yes,
so you understand that we have 4 continuous labs. So first I'm going to start from, okay. So we are back to, we will follow the same content, but here this example belong to the cloud, specific, what do you say, the GitHub. Okay, so I have that's I already switch on my VM. So we are running with the one server and one system, and we have two another system with automation. So total four systems running right. Often the first system, this the Linux, our automation by the GNS is will be the other lab. But I want authentication with using this system to my another system which is running on. This is the server one. I'm not looking. I'm looking. This is another system. So we have two systems. I want to authenticate. First, we will test using the user and password how we authenticate. So we are into the same LAN. So I'm going to pick the LAN here. What IP do we have? So IP config. So we have 56 LAN. You know that that's LAN is connect to all the. So we have IP 192.160.56 series 102. So this system IP is 102, and I will check here what I have in the same LAN. Okay, sorry, if config. If so, we have the same series of connectivity, the 50 and 108, and that we have 102. Okay, so 108, let me ping 108. I'm able to ping. If you are not understanding, let me know. These are in the same LAN. They have virtual LAN connectivity 102, 108. They are receiving the IP from DSC of them here. Okay, it's a pinging. It's a reachable. Now let's see if it's reachable through the SSH. Okay, so I'm going to do SSH, and the username is student if you remember, and that 192.168.50.108. This is 102. That is 108, and they will ask for the fingerprint, and we are here. Yes, I want to. First time we are doing. So they ask for the password, and that we know the password. We are at the we are able to successfully access the user and password, right? We are on not server, the another system. Are you able to see how here guys here
Yes.
exit that. But I don't want this system to get authenticated not using user and password because we log into this system. So we have to the public key. So for that we had to generate the private key. Please go through the previous video. We have already explained basics of public. Okay, so what you have to do, we're going to generate the public key here on this system. You can do vice versa from that system, but this case study I'm using, let me on that system. Or from here I want to do because the space is very less on the Linux system. I'm going to use. So what file do we have? SSS file. So we know that we have SSS folder, home folder, or home folder dot s, and let's see what we have content in that. So I'm going to list out all the file content here, even hidden file. So we have two hidden file. One is non-host. Non-host nothing to whom you going to access. stored over there. If you want to extract that, that is, so you supposed to understand the known host. There is all the file, what file services. This file, this fingerprint is for the SSH login. Okay, suppose this fingerprint, just now we logged in to the this server. They asked me first time this, but they are not going to ask me once they registered those fingerprint their known host. So this time they will not pop up with the any finger. So they maintain that fingerprint on this. Okay, and they are using the this coding system that is called, I can use my password. So do you understand? The known host is going to maintain all the about the fingerprint which you are using to SSH to that. Okay, now we have to going to create the two folder, one for public folder, for public key folder, another for the private key folder. How? So we have to use ssh-keygen. That's a automatic install ssh running that command. No need to install anything. So for that, what is those commands? So you can refer to the main page that is called command keygen. I just want to show you options. So this is the main page of the keygen. They are telling this SSH keygen is the open SSH authentication key ability. So and you have multiple options and you use these options. So let me show you the few options like C, capital C for provide the new comments. Beacon, small b is for bits. How many bits you want? So size is minimum size is 1024. Default is 3072, but we're going to use 1048. We have different type of key types. You can see here if you go down and hyphen T going to give type of what type of key you want to use. So we will use the RSA key. Okay, this one. But in the cloud, you saw that there is a different key for fingerprint. Fingerprint, they are using the ECDSA, and we're going to use right now RSA key. Another for cloud, generally GitHub is using the ED25519. Okay, so we're going to see the type of key is different right now. RSA, and then you can see verbogs. They're going to give you the debug stuff. How are you going to debug? What are the process? Debugging from message process. So this is very good command options, and they have given multiple you the examples you can build. Example for certificate example, these commands are. Okay, so let's start. So here you can explore this command. What are the options do we have? So let's generate the keys. First is to generate the key. My command will start with this screen. SSH keygen. What is command SSH? Then I will define my type. That option I. So the type is RSA. What is the bit standard? I'm taking 2048 because this is the standard the router and network. You can use the default one also. Then I'm going to followed by the comments, capital C, capital. What comments? So this key I'm generating for what? For my system, Linux system. I'm going to give the name Linux. You can give this comments anything. It depend upon you or your selection, but you give proper meaningful name so that you can recall if you have multiple keys available on your system. So here we are generating first one. That's okay. So this is we have this Linux also. Just I'm giving this anyone any name and this user. I'm going to enter. So generating the public private pair RSA key pair into which you want to save, where you want to save. I want to default place where you see the default is taking .ssh. Yes, this is a folder. So this is the private key folder. ID RSA means private. So yes, I don't want to modify. If you want to modify, you can, but I want to keep default place because everything there. That's good. Second, enter. You want to next level of authentication. You want to secure this key because the system is secure. I don't want to secure, but in organization maybe you need to pass your passphrase. So you have to pass your passphrase so that whenever you open the key, no one can going to open the key without knowing this passphrase. This is next level of authentication. So I don't again confirm that what you the passphrase. I'm not going to use any passphrase the first time. The second time also there is no passphrase. So I did not use the passphrase, but you can use H4 because this I want to make very simple way. Now there is two key I generated. You this command. There is a first ID RSA, that is your private key. Okay, private key no abbreviation. This is the ID RSA, that's a local key, private key, which is going to maintain you. And the second key is called public key, that's going in .pub. So these two key has generated, and they have, this is the Linux out. This is your fingerprint what we had earlier. So username is Linux also. And so let's see what are the file system now we have in my. So I'm going to this. I just want to explore what are the file system do we have right now. So I went into that earlier. These two was not there. Now it is available. Okay, so let's see what content do we have for private key and public key. Simple command I can use cat and follow the folder. It's ID RSA. So this is for private key. I just want to see this is the begin with the open SSH private key. This is my private key. Okay, can you see this is the private? You should not going to share this. This is secure. You have to. Okay, this private key have to secure on your local server. Now go to the public key. Public key which you have to, as the name say that, you have to share with the remote to whom you want to authenticate. Okay, this is clear. So this public key, whoever having this public key, so this public key is a part of this private key. This public key can be authenticated with this private key. So this public key going to be of the 10, 100 or as many as people they have this. And this, once they will come with this public key, private key, authenticate. Okay, this pair is only going. Clear guys? Yes. Here.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So till here we have clear because this is fundamental concept. It's going to work throughout any system you're going to, but there's different public key how they're going to consume the remotes when this public key how there's a style is different. Linux for the window, and you can go for Cisco or Juniper or the cloud. Now do you understand this public key having three parts? First part is in which form, it is in which form. So this is SSL secure shell RSA key, and then key start from here and key end to here, and they are tagged with the end. This key for which user? The user is also here are the three component. The what type of key we have, public or is it, and then what is the key content. Okay, now come back to this. I want to know the hash value of this. Suppose you're going to give this key to the other end while you are transferring. Suppose if you remember, you're going to copy the MD5, sorry, not MD5. If you copy some software from some link, so you have to verify the hash key whether this is really what we copy the same. So how do you generate the hash of these keys? You need hash key, so that going to help you generate while this, and we will check that. So hash key going to generate gen and followed by the file system f for the listing key gen and file system key, my dot ss where is the file is, and then id rsa I want hash for the public, sorry, public key. So whenever I'm going to share, the hash supposed to be same. So you can see it's generated the listing, the printing and listing the keygen for the file system, this hash value. So this is the hash value, and from here this, so this supposed to match. Okay, now Astos, but in Cisco they do not use the hash or SAV hashing value. They use the MD5. For MD5, you can go just change as a description file fingerprint. Sorry, option as a capital E, then go for MD5. So by default, it will give you the SAT 250 SAT 256. But if you're looking for the hash value in MD5 in Cisco, generally it's going to be used. So you just enter. This is given you into MD5. You understand how to generate the SAT 250. For Linux, they will, for matching purpose, we will use the SAT 250 print, where in the Cisco we will use the MD5. Clear till here? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's start the as those the first step. What we have to communicate one system to another. Let's go to the another system. So this is my another system. Uh, what we sorry. This is my system
Ashwin,
where we
one question.
want. Yes. Tell me.
Okay, so that is just like a bit of out of this conversation. So suppose if we are authenticating between two hosts, it could be like system to server, system to router. So like in some other environment, we have like kind of certificate authentication. So do we have any kind of like mechanism? So instead of this show or key, we can authenticate on the basis of certificate.
Yes. In Windows, the same thing. This public and private key. That's that we are doing here. Like command line, because we have studying in Linux. If you do these things in window, so you have to generate the public certificate and private certificate, third party certification. So
Okay, so
instead
that is
of
for
doing
Windows.
local authentication certification method public and key, you have to generate third party. Generally organization they do the third party authentication and they generate the public and private certificate. Okay, and private one they keep themselves, and public they distribute with those system and then authenticate that. Okay, we will show you that, but we have to create the lab. Okay,
Okay.
don't worry, we have that lab. And when I will go for the ASA firewall, so we will how we going to one router as a certificate authority water router as a third party, and we will generate
Sure.
the certificate. We will do that lab. First, you understand this. Okay.
Sure, sure. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm going to keep that. I'm going to add one certificate, how to generate the certificate, and through the certificate, I'm going to authenticate. That's a good one. Okay. So here one system. So I'm not going to copy. We just remember the IP is, if config, if you have 102, remember, and the remote one 108. So let me ping remote one again. Uh, I I hope I already ping that. Yes. So this is we already ping and we have done. So I'm going to copy this public folder to that. Okay. Sorry, public file my to my remote system. This that's going to be SCP. I'm going to SCP. So local file system will be .h, and that goes the id dot p. Just I'm copying, going to post this file to my remote. That will be, and the rate 190.168.56.108 colon. I'm going to on home directory there, direct. So let's do this, and they will ask me the password. Pass, because there's now you can copy everything. So I'm going to log in using the SSH, my remote system, verified copy, file is verified. I'm in remotes, my local. Check this, the file, public file is copied to this or not. Can you see this public file right there? Okay.
Yes.
So we copy from this system. They did not share with the private key. You have to remember they have to share with the public key only. They have share. And what you have to do in the remote system. So remote system, I have to check my SSH dot ls. We will go to the home directory dot s. We will list out. So you have here also RSA key, RSA public key, but this public key and private keys belong to this system. Okay, this is belong to this system. Okay, don't get confused. I need the public key. I have to maintain. Maybe there is 100 of public key because I want to communicate to 100 of system, right? So I have to make one different file system that going to be authorized key, that going to be called authorized key, and I'm going to keep all the public key in that for the remote communication, not for my communication. This is for my communication. I want to communicate. Don't get confused. This public key is different than we receive. So here we're going to make one, make directory, not this directory, one directory. We're going to make one file here, and we maintain in that file all the authorized key. I'm going to create, that is called authorized keys. This is one file system. So just check what I have done. Just I created authorized key, means this is the public key which I'm going to store in this file, the remote one. And I have ls l, if you see, we have this key. This is not this key, not this key. This is the local system key. This is the my remote key who want to communicate. So I'm going to store this key information in authorized key. Not only this, whoever the maybe 100 of system going to communicate, I'm going to maintain all the key into this which I received from the remote. Okay, Now how you do the Linux, just you do cat and you want authorized key, sorry, want this id in the home directory. So this is append with the authorized key where we have authorized. So what I'm doing, this key going to be moved to in my authorized content. Okay, before doing that, let me show you nothing is there in that cat authorized key, because I just opened that, but I did not have given any content. You can see this is empty right now. So now I'm going to do what going to do, cat append. Right now you can see there is nothing I have created already. Wait, cat the home directory dot ss. So don't have anything right key. Now I'm going to copy that contains, so append that, so that called id rsa public key, then append to the dot the, and then going to append as in cat, that's key. And if you keep on receiving those key, you keep on append on this file. Now I have authorized key. Okay, just what we have done, we have created one ssh within the ssh folder, one authorized key by which they're going to authorize to my remote system. Now I'm going to come out, going to exit with this system. Now I'm in my system, where we have private key. I have shared the public key that here. Just I'm going to ssh. It should not ask me anything like password is supposed to go to the, can you see they did not ask me the questions. And because they due to they maintain the public key, you just click and they did not ask it. Yes.
Yes. So actually, once we have pushed this public key in this remote, so do we? It is really required to append that key in a specific folder like we created, like authorized key. Only
Yes,
then it
yes,
will be,
yes. Otherwise, they are not able to identify. Like we have.
because anyway that is already there in our remote machine.
No,
So
this is SSH. How SSH going to identify? This folder only. Who responsible for the secure cell? I don't understand. This folder, this folder is responsible. This non. If you remove, if you remember, while you are doing the SSH to the router switch, I told you remove this non-host and create
okay.
new folder so that they can accept those new key, if you remember in the troubleshoot.
Okay.
Okay, so like that, the fingerprint is stored in the non-host. Same way, is the authorized folder is there. They're going to authorize all the system have. Okay, you can refer to the main page and they have explained you how to use the authorized key. Authorized key folder going to be authorized for the public key infrastructure, where the non-host key is going to, they're going to tell about them what, who are the fingerprint stored for the system. Okay,
Okay.
okay, clear. Everyone, system to system is clear. So I'm going to delete this public because it's going to be confusion for this. You supposed to not going to, because the name get confused because they have created a folder. You going to keep this name is different. I'm going to move this. Okay, KDA. So this file already amended on here where it's, so you understand this is the one of the easiest ways system to system, because both the systems are Linux. They understand all the format, the key formatting. Okay, just you have to remember, you have to make authorized folder where you can keep on adding the multiple public key, and you are able to without idiot.
Yes.
Okay, now come back to next. I'm going to take next topic in the next upcoming classes, and we're going all from system to server. What challenges do we have? Different challenges from system. There is no issue at all. Just we have authorized folder we have to create, and that. Okay, see you in next upcoming classes with the topic that is systems. Bye bye.